Afreen Sultana, back again with another session of new chapter, Science of Plants, that is botany. Before I begin, I would like to appreciate Manoja, Kavya, Vasanta, Ishasri, Shivani from Kodakandla, and N. Anjali Devi from Vangara, TSRJC, and of course Durga also from Hasanpati for their work. Very good children, you have been following the classes very well, keenly, and writing all legible answers. Keep going, and I hope the same thing is happening in all the other TSRJC junior colleges. Children are following and making a notes and writing the assignments and submitting their JLs. I request the JLs to forward a best one to me so that I can mention their name here. So, in today's session, we are going to learn about botany. Botany is nothing but plant science. How this plant science has come into existence, the scope, the origin, the development, and the branches related to this botany will be dealt in this chapter. This chapter may look a little bit dry with only more and more information, bulk of information, because several centuries, not decades, several centuries, the information has been recorded, maintained, and classified, and accordingly they are placed in particular branches of this botany. So it will be huge, but uh, in a small glimpse in this lesson, it is projected here. And as a botany student, you must know each and every corner of this botany. Then only you'll understand botany in a better way. I hope you will follow this lesson very well, keenly, so that this is going to help you to understand all other topics of botany in the proceeding years. Okay, let us move into the topic. Sir, I am not the host. Please make me the host so that I can share. Sir, hello, ma'am. Hello, Sarla ma'am, please make me the host. Sarla ma'am, please make me the host so that I can share my screen with them.
What happened, ma'am?
Screen sharing is not possible because
Madhu sir? Madhu sir is the host, ma'am.
okay, I think he forgot today to make me the host. Madhu sir, please make me the host.
నేను కాల్ చేస్తాను ఆగండి.
Okay. Okay, meanwhile, students, so let us discuss about what you have learned previously. You have learned about living world. That means how you are going to identify the defining property of any living organism, any living cell, indeed, and nomenclature and taxonomy. Taxonomy means classification. On what basis the classification is done? Taxonomic categories and biological classification, which is comprising of two kingdom classification, three kingdom classification, four kingdom classification, five kingdom classification, and of course, six kingdom classification is also there. But we have learned in detail about five kingdom classification, where you have been taught about all the kingdoms: kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae and Animalia, along with viruses, virites, and prans. So, in this chapter, you are going to learn about plant botany, that is complete information. So far, whatever the scientists they have recorded, everything in a precise manner, in a complete compact manner. You are going to have a familiarity with this all areas of botany, so that when you are going to learn in your earlier classes, it will be very simple and easy to understand what is the importance of particular brand, why this brand is separated, and what information you can get. Whatever information about plant if you want, you must enter into that particular category and you have to find out. So now I am the host, so I can share my screen and proceed with the third lesson or third chapter. So here we go with the third chapter of botany, scope of plants or science of plants. It is botany. So as usual, we are going to begin with a slide of appreciation. Uh, I once again I congratulate all the students who are mentioned here and their lecturers also who are giving the feedback. And I also request other JLs also to take the feedback from the students and to check their work properly. And at least one name has to be forwarded to me so that in the coming sessions, I'll be taking their names. So origin of botany. What is botany actually? How it originated? First of all, we must know what is biology. Biology is nothing but the study of living organisms. All the living organisms will be studied under biology. Bio means life and logos means study of life. So biology is nothing but life sciences. And in this life sciences, we are having the botany and zoology getting separated. In this botany, we'll be coming to know how the name botany came. What is the origin of this botany? Botany was derived from Greek language. Bos refers to cattle. So the Greek people they used to call cattle as bos, and whatever the feed, that means the grass which will be eaten by these cattle, it was called as bovskin. That means cattle feed. So slowly this bovskin has become botan, and finally in the present day, present terminology, it is botany. So like this, the name got originated from the Greek word bovskin. Now we must know about the development that has taken place so far. So, Egyptians and Assyrians in the 4000 BC. Remember, when we are learning about this chapter, we are going to learn the work of all the scientists who contributed a lot for our understanding for the 20 centuries. Okay, more than 20 centuries also we can say. And in this, you can see that in this development, the past 30 years, that means the past 3 decades, it has contributed a lot more than any other this period of time or the past 20 centuries. So this present day we can also consider it as golden era of biology. Golden era of biology, because due to the advancement of many technological things, we have been able to understand much more clearly. So that's why now we are in present golden era of biology. As you know that previously it was a dark age of science, superstitions, ignorance, everything was there. Okay, slowly, time progressed, and these contributions of scientists has given us clarity. So Egyptians and Assyrians in the 4000 BC recorded information related to crop plants and fruits, trees in the form of pictures called hieroglyphics. And not only these Egyptians but also our Chinese people, they started these practices of agriculture and they improvised the agricultural practices. And during 1300 BC, Parasara, he wrote Krishi Parasaram, the oldest book on agriculture and weeds. Agriculture is providing food for us, and what are the agricultural practices, how to proceed. And weed plants are nothing but weed. Weed plants are nothing but unwanted plants. These unwanted plants, they are going to compete with our crop plants. They will be taking the nutrients, nourishment, sunlight, and they will progress. So we have to remove the unwanted weed plants from the crop plants. So here on agricultural and weeds, the description was given by this Parasara. He also wrote another book, Vriksha Ayurveda. Vriksha Ayurveda means about plants and Ayurveda. These things, the description was given. And in this, he described about forests, different types of forests found in India, external and internal characters of plants, including the medicinal plants. That's why the book name was given as Vriksha Ayurveda. So we'll proceed now. Next, the most important thing, that is father of botany, Theophrastus, 340 BC. He is considered as father of botany because described external and internal character of plants in his book, The Species Planetarium. In this species planetarium, he mentioned about 500 plants. 500 plants. Just if I will ask you to collect some 100 plants from your surrounding, you are a civilized person now, and you can get many things. Can you collect within a day 100 plants? No, 100 different types of plants. Here, 500 different types of plants. He has studied about them, internal, external characters in those days. Okay, and in his book, he has mentioned the Historia Planetarium or Species Planetarium. In that species, he particularly mentioned. So here, Theophrastus is considered as the father of botany because the description of plants began with Theophrastus. So that's why he is considered to be the father of botany. Now, next, development of botany. In this, we are going to have many other scientists coming forward, their contributions. Gaspar Bohin. Gaspar Bohin, he published then description and identification of 6,000 plants, not 600 plants. Furthermore, he has increased and he has published about 6,000 plants. 6,000. 6,000. We cannot reach 100 here. Different types of plants in a day or in 10 days also. He has studied about 6,000 plants, and also he introduced binomial classification. Binomial classification in the year 1623. 1623. That means the 17th century, Gaspard Bohin published. And here, even though he introduced binomial nomenclature, it was popularized by Carolus Linnaeus. That thing you have to remember. Botany emerged as a specific science with discovery of cell by Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke in 1665, you know that he wrote the book Micrographia, and he also observed the cock cell, and he discovered the cell. He discovered the cell by using the microscope. He observed bark, and in the bark he has seen only the compartments. Bark of a plant he has studied, and compartments means rooms like empty spaces. There was no nucleus because cork is a dead tissue. And in this, you will see only the cell wall and the plasma membrane. The cytoplasm and nucleus will be disappearing. And this was discovered by Robert Hooke. And then afterwards, the discovery of sexual reproduction in plants by Camerarius. Sexual reproduction in plants was also discovered. This sexual reproduction is nothing but the seed formation. How the seed formation is going to take place. That is important. By seeing the plants in nature, the structure of flower, then identifying what does the flower has in it. The flower has calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, and how these ovules and pollen grains are fusing, and how this pollination is taking place, fertilization is taking place. All these things, the study began in 1694. Okay, so the sexual reproduction was identified in plants by Camerarius in 1694. Next, mutations. Mutations in plants were discovered by Hugo de Vries. Mutations are nothing but sudden changes in the genes. Sudden changes in the genes will be taking place, and this was studied by Hugo de Vries. Then came Gregor John Mendel. Gregor John Mendel, he introduced the laws of inheritance and became popular as father of genetics. John Gregor Mendel, he was a monk, and you know that he has studied about pea plant. Pea plant, Pisum sativum, scientific name. So in this pea plant, he has studied how these pea plants are going to show some variations, some changes. Variations are nothing but changes taking place, whether it may be the flower is changing or the seed is changing, the color of the seed, the shape of the seed, the pod color, whether the pod is inflated So like this, he has studied, and John Gregor Mendel, he is considered to be the father of genetics, and he has given about laws of inheritance. Laws of inheritance, where you will be seeing law of dominance. Dominance means how one particular character or trait or gene is going to be dominant over other trait. So this is called law of dominance. In 10th, you have studied law of independent assortment. Independent assortment means one trait is going to be expressed and it is not going to have any effect on the other trait for another character. That means, for example, tall trees are there and dwarf trees are there. In the same thing, again we can consider about the size of the seed also. Or else if you take seed only, for example, the seed, if it is and wrinkled, round and wrinkled, or uh, you know about this. I hope you can recall your 10th standard where you studied about this round, yellow, wrinkled green. So here round is the dominant character and wrinkled is the recessive character. Yellow is the dominant character and this green color is the recessive character. So two characters will be there, and in this you will see that independent assortment means one of the character is not going to influence the other. Okay. So independently they will be expressing their own character. And law of dominance, law of independent assortment, law of segregation. Segregation means they will be getting segregated. Okay, the genes, if they are having the dominant genes, or if they are having the recessive genes, or if they are having heterozygous, that means the dominant and recessive genes in them. So they are going to get segregated, separated, and it will be placed. That you have seen how it will happen in the cross. So like this, the segregation will be taking place and it is possible for one combination, second combination, third combination, and fourth combination. Like this, combinations are possible. So you began with John Gregor Mendel's genetics in your 10th standard, and it is going to continue in intermediate also. Charles Darwin, he put forward the theory of evolution. Evolution is also important. And you have noticed in the Galapagos ideas, he has seen the beaks of birds. Okay, based on the type of food they are going to consume, the beaks are changing. Okay, even though they belong to one place only, due to the type of food they are intaking, some evolution has taken place. And Charles Darwin, he put forward the theory of evolution. Buchner discovered the enzyme zymase in yeast cell. Yeast is a fungi, unicellular fungi, and it will be producing an enzyme called zymase. And this yeast is used in bakery or brewing industry, where fermentation process will be proceeded. So he discovered Buchner. And next, mutations in plants are discovered by Hugo de Vries, and the role of chromosomes in heredity by Sutton and Boveri. So chromosome is also very important. Chromosome is nothing but our genetic material, and the way we are behaving, it is because of this present in our cell. Okay, we got a set of chromosomes from both our parents, mother and father, and it is a thing that we are going to behave in such a manner, or our external appearance or our internal genetic framework is because of the chromosomes, and we are going to pass it on to our next generation, that is only the heredity, and it was given by Sutton and Boveri. Next, next we are having double helical structure of DNA was discovered by Watson and Crick in the year 1953. You can see double helical structure, helix, like a staircase. You can see this is the helical structure. So like this we are having the double helical structure of DNA, and it was discovered by Watson and Crick, for which they got Nobel Prize also, and many other scientists also contributed along with them. Artificial synthesis of gene. How artificially the synthesis can take place in a laboratory was done by Hargobind Khorana. Artificial synthesis of gene means whatever the requirement for this gene, it will be procured, and the framework of our chromosome strand. This is one particular strand. This is another strand, double helical strand. How these gene strands are going to form, how it is formed was artificially synthesized in laboratory by Har Gobind Khurana. He is from India. And next, technique of plant tissue culture by Hanning, Shimakura, Spoog, White, Maheshwari, and others. Technique of plant tissue culture, you know, green revolution was possible because of this tissue culture only. Tissue culture is nothing but in a cell, in a test tube. In a test tube, in the nutrient media, we are going to take a particular cell, for example, plant cell, and provide all the nutrients essential for this cell. Then it is going to multiply and form a mass of cell. This mass of cell is called callus, and this callus, this callus is going to get differentiated into root system and shoot system. So like this, in a small test tube, it is possible. And this particular plant cell is having totipotency. Totipotency means the ability to give rise to a complete plant is called totipotency. So this tissue culture was given in plants, and here within a short period of time, the desired character cell can be cultured artificially, and we can develop a complete whole plant by using a single cell. So this is a great boon for raising desired character plants, and tissue culture practices will save our time as within short period of time, as well as a small place also in a laboratory. Number of plants can be produced. After producing, these will be transferred to the natural media, natural environment. That means they will be acclimatized. So this is the thing about tissue culture. Next, auxins. Auxins were identified by F.W. Wendt. You have learned about auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, and ethylene. So these are plant growth hormones, and these phytohormones. The first beginning of this phytohormone identification was done by F.W. Wendt. Charles Darwin and Francis Darwin, even though they identified something is there in the plant tip, shoot tip, and root tip, making it bend towards the light. F.W. Wendt was uh, successful in conducting an experiment and showing that substance is nothing but auxin, indole acetic acid. Indole acetic acid is a natural auxin. This is a phytohormone responsible for the growth of the plant. Even it is present in the root tip and shoot tip, making it grow or increase in size. Next, TCA cycle. TCA cycle means tricarboxylic acid cycle. This was identified by Sir Hans Krebs. It is also called as Krebs cycle. In photosynthesis lesson, you are going to learn about this one, as well as C3 cycle pathway of carbon assimilation. Carbon assimilation is nothing but dark reaction, carbon fixation, where from carbon dioxide and water, the carbohydrate will be prepared. And this was identified by Melvin, Calvin, Benson, and Bassam. Next, C4 pathway. C4 pathway was discovered by Hatch and Slag. Though both the C3 cycle, C4 cycle will be taking place in plants only, but certain plants they'll be going with the C3 cycle, where they will be having phosphoglyceric acid, and in C4 cycle they'll be having oxaloacetic acid. Okay, 4 carbon compound that we will learn in detail in second year intermediate. Next, now coming to the scope of botany. So far you have learned how the botany has progressed year after year, decade after decade, century after century. It has been on a progressive stage. Now, the scope of botany. Scope of botany is nothing but the importance of botany in our day-to-day life, where we are using. It helps in the identification of minerals which are essential for the growth of plants. So we depend for our food on plants. So we must know whether the plant is able to produce the food sufficiently. With the increasing population, we must be able to procure more and more food. in less time, as well as the soil nature, how the soil is helping the plants to grow, whether the soil is having sufficiently the elements responsible for the growth of the plant or not. We have to identify, okay, by testing the soil, and then afterwards, by knowing the minerals which are responsible for the plant grow properly, we can grow well the crop. So the role of minerals in plant nutrition is useful in rational usage of chemical fertilizer and control of mineral deficiencies. So fertilizers, whether it may be biological fertilizers, that means the compost, or the artificial fertilizers, that means the chemical fertilizers, that can be supplied where the plant is, or where the soil is deficient of particular minerals. And in this manner, agricultural productivity will be known by plant physiology. Plant physiology means how this plant internal working, the supply of this water by the root system and the minerals by the root system, how it is taking place, how the photosynthesis is taking place in the leaf, how this glucose is supplied to all parts of the plant body. All these falls under this physiology process, and the role of plant growth hormones. All these comes under this plant physiology. Next, scope of botany, knowledge on the role of plant hormones. Just now I said about phytohormones. Phytohormones are nothing but plant growth hormones only. They'll be helping in the development and highly significant to improve agriculture and horticulture. Horticulture means fruit producing plants. Okay, agriculture means crop producing. Both crops as well as fruits are important for us. So, through this herbicidal control of weeds. Herbicidal control of weeds means auxins will be there. Auxins will be there, 2,4-dichlorophenoxyacetic acid. These are herbicide. Herbicide means they are going to have a killing effect on herbs. So mostly the or we can also say the dicot plants, 2,4-D. So here 2,4-D is an auxin which is going to kill the dicot plants. In the crop plants, we'll be having the monocot plants. So monocot plants will be safe by the spray of this uh, 2,4-D, which is a herbicide and which is going to kill only the dicots, which are going to be the weed plants, unwanted plants. So this is a best option for us. Next, breaking the seed dormancy. Seed dormancy means seeds will be dormant, inactive for some period of time. And when we are sowing, they must germinate. They must germinate. All the seeds must germinate. And for this breaking of seed dormancy, also we have the hormone responsible like cytokinins along with gibberellins. Next, enhancement of shelf life period. Shelf life means whatever fruits we are going to produce in the agricultural field, we are not going to consume in a single day. So the leafy vegetables, spinach, all these things, they must be properly kept in a place where for a long period of time or more days it can be fresh. Okay, so that means you are increasing the shelf period, whether it may be dry seeds or cereals, pulses, or else leafy vegetables, fresh fruits, vegetables, flowers, all these, the shelf life period has to be increased. And for this, cytokinins is responsible. Artificial ripening of fruits like apple and banana. You know about Italy ampules? If we keep these Italy ampules, these fruits are going to ripen very fast. Next, rooting of stem cuttings for vegetative propagation. Rooting means whatever stem cuttings we are keeping in the soil, they must give the root system. And that is possible by auxins only. So auxins will be the stems will be treated. Stem cutting will be treated with auxin substance, and it will be planted so that it develop the root system very fastly in vegetative propagation. Now coming to the scope of botany here, the problems like decreasing resources and increasing population could be solved by enhancing crop yield through green revolution. As you know, green revolution is nothing but the hybridization technique, that is tissue culture and biotechnology together, and also by developing disease pest resistant crops by using principles of biotechnology. So pest resistant means um, some of the pests or insects, harmful insects. Insects are useful for pollination, but certain insects are going to suck the juices from our plants. So here we have to be sure what type of insect is that, how it can be killed, how we are going to remove it, how we are going to develop a seed that is pest resistant. That means if the seed will germinate and a certain substance is available in that plantlet, if a pest will come and eat, it will die. In such a manner, in a progressive way, the pest resistant seeds will be developed or crops will be developed. And BT cotton is an example for this. Bacillus thuringiensis. In Bacillus thuringiensis, particular bacteria will be killed, which is going to harm our cotton crop. Next, progress in agriculture, forestry, horticulture is possible through hybridization experiments and genetic engineering technology. Next, new plant breeding techniques are useful to develop hybrid varieties in crop plants like rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane. New plant breeding techniques, hybrid varieties can be developed. You know about cutting, layering, grafting. Under this grafting, you are having novel varieties getting formed. The novel varieties are nothing but because of hybrid techniques only. We are going to develop a novel variety. That means a graft can be developed. It is possible for rice, wheat, maize, sugarcane. Phytopathology. Phyto means plant pathology. Pathology is study of disease causing uh, insects or germs, whatever, and eradicating them. So phytopathology will help us. This field will help in prevention and eradication of several plant diseases. Several industries could be based on botany. Several industries can be based on botany means like cotton industry, pulp industry, wood industry. Okay, cotton we are using for cotton cloth. Okay, cotton cloth and sugarcane industry and pulp industry for making paper. So all these are coming from the plant only. So industries are set up because of this plants only. Now coming to the branches of botany, morphology. Morphology means study of external features, either the external features or internal features. Internal features of any plant. You can see in this picture, this is a plant, flowering plant. In this morphology, you are able to see external features. The external features, visible features for us are the root system, shoot system, leaves, flowers, all these things are visible for us. Internal means inside. What is there inside? What is there inside means inside tissues will be there. Tissues. What type of tissues are there? Xylem, phloem, palisade parenchyma, spongy parenchyma, all these collenchyma, sclerenchyma, simple tissues and complex tissues. So the arrangement of these tissues is called anatomy. Anatomy is the proper arrangement of these tissues in these plants and how they are behaving. All these will be studied under this morphology branch. I hope you are following. Next, cytology. That means about the cell, cellular organization, cell organelles like nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, vacuoles, Golgi complex, all these things will be under cytology. Embryology. Embryology is also very important. Here a nice picture is given about embryology, where you are seeing a flower, which is the sexual part, having the androecium and gynoecium. And you can see both the androecium and gynoecium are produced. Sorry, both are producing. So this pollen grain is produced in the anther, and this ovule is produced in the ovary. You can see the structure of the ovule and the egg cell, how the mega sporogenesis is taking place. And this one is a microsporogenesis. Microsporogenesis. And finally, they are giving rise to the pollen grain and ovule. Pollen grain and ovule. The pollen grain is a male gamete and the ovule is a female gamete. And all these things takes place in the pollination and fertilization, fusion of gametes, male and female gamete, finally developing into a seed and ovary developing into a fruit. The zygote is going to develop into a seed. And when this seed will germinate again, a new plant body is going to come out. So this is nothing but embryology, the developmental stages of this pollen grain and ovule, or pollen grain and egg cell from the ovule will be considered in this. Palynology is the study of pollen grains, and taxonomy is the classification, as you know. And systemic botany is nothing but the same taxonomy with phylogenetic relationship. Next one is physiology. Physiology means the same in the xylem and phloem tissue, how the water and food conduction is taking place, how in the leaf it is able to synthesize the glucose. The physiology of this plant will be studied clearly, and how the water and mineral nutrients are absorbed by the root system. This physiology will be dealt in your second year intermediate. Next, plant ecology. The habitat where a plant lives. It may be a desert area, it may be aquatic area, it may be terrestrial area, whatsoever. The place where it is surviving, living in its environment, and interacting with the abiotic components. It is called plant ecology. Paleobotany, study of extinct plants. Fossils of plants, the leftover remnants. You can see here a fossil of a plant can be seen on a rock, and these leftover material will give certain idea about existence of particular species over the past. And next, genetics is also important. You know about the pea plant. John Grigor Mendel is the father of genetics. Phytogeography. Phyto means plants, geography means area of distribution, wherever the plants are distributed all over the world. Like for example, desert area only we will find the cactus, open like that. Nowadays we are finding in our area aloe vera, some certain plants where water deficiency is there, they can grow well. But can we make a mango tree grow in a desert or sand? No, mango tree cannot grow there. Tamarind you cannot find there. That means distribution of these plants will be studied in phytogeography. Next, plant pathology, study of plant diseases, how they will occur, how they can be eradicated. All these things will be dealt in that. Phycology, mycology, lichenology, and bryology, pteridology. These are also branches of botany. These are the most important thing. Phycology, in up to your PG level also you'll be having separate phycology. Phycology means you'll be studying only about algae, algae plants, algae which are autotrophic. Autotrophic means able to synthesize food. That means they are chlorophyllous thallophytes. Chlorophyllous thallophytes, having the chlorophyll. So phycology is nothing but about algae studies, chlorophyllous autotrophs, and mycology study of fungi. That means they are non-chlorophyllous heterotrophs. They are unable to not heterotrophs or saprophytes you can mention. And that is two things common for this phycology and mycology. You can see that is thallophyta. They are placed under thallophytes. Thallophytes means algae and fungi both will come. Okay, algae are having photosynthesis, and fungi they are unable to undertake photosynthesis. They are saprophytes mostly. So phycology and mycology, and together the association of this algae and fungi will be studied in like lichenology. Next we are having bryology. Bryology is nothing but bryophytes, moss plant. These moss plants they are also called as amphibians of plant kingdom. Amphibians of plant kingdom. That means they require water as well as land also. Pteridology, pteridophytes, fern plants. Study of fern plants are the vascular phanerogams. Vascular phanerogams means flowering plants. Cryptogams means non-flowering. Next, you can see here lichens, both the algae and the fungi. Excuse me. So here these fungi will be at the bottom and the algae will be on the top, undertaking photosynthesis. Branches of biology further is also given here information for you. Biology, Aristotle is the father of biology. Theophrastus, father of botany. Carolus Linnaeus, father of modern botany. Leonardo da Vinci, paleontology. And John Grigor Mendel, father of genetics. Thomas Hunt Morgan, modern genetics. Next slide, some more further of certain branches you can see here. In this cytology, Robert Hooke, 1663, 64. Botanical illustrations, treatise. He has given illustrations of botanical plants. Nehemiah Grew. He gave plant anatomy, internal organization of plants. Hippocrates, father of medicine. Carl Linnaeus, taxonomy. And Hugo de Vries is the father of mutations. Pier Antonio Micheli, mycology father. Anthony von Leeuwenhoek, bacteriology father. And George Cuvier. Cuvier has given about comparative anatomy. That means the anatomy of angiosperms, gymnosperms, monocot, dicot, this will be compared in this. Stephen Hales, plant physiology, which is very important. And microbiology, father of microbiology is Louis Pasteur. Coming to the assignment session, 10 questions are given, 9 very short answers, very short questions are given here. In this, you can see, name the books written by Parasara and mention the important aspects discussed in those books. Who is popularly known as father of botany? What are the contributions of Carolus van Linnaeus for the development of plant taxonomy? Why is Mendel considered as father of genetics? Who discovered the cell? And what was the book written by him? Other important five questions are there in short answers. I am giving these questions based on importance of IP question paper. As per that, very important questions are being given as assignment. So keep a separate notebook and complete. If you haven't begun yet, it's a time to begin as early as possible. What is paleobotany? What is the use? What are the groups of plants that live as symbionts in lichens? Name the study of lichenology. Which group of plant is called vascular cryptogams? Name the branch of botany which deals with them. Which group of plant is called amphibians of plant kingdom? Name the branch of botany which deals with them. And this one red color I have given for short answer question, one important from this lesson, from this chapter 3. Explain the scope of botany in relation to agriculture, horticulture and medicine. So related to all these question answers, the topic has been so far discovered in this session. I hope you will follow well and you are going to write down the legible answers. And with this, now I am going to thank one and all. And today's session is over. Thank you.